Alright, fellas. Time for the Great Escape.
Hooray! Oh,
Just as soon as I get a drink.
okay. Well, just don't be long now. We'll be in here waiting.
More like the Great Escape from Responsibility, I see.
Ubisoft these days, they drive me to drink. Okay, that's it, everybody. So, yes, we are still planning on doing Rayman 2 The Great Escape, relatively soon after we just finished Redemption. However...
And boy?
Yeah.
Boy?
There's a funny little game that Ubisoft made around the same time as Rayman 2 that I figured would be appropriate to cover beforehand, because it's like a fun little mishmash of, like, the elements of Rayman 1 and what would we'd eventually get out of Rayman 2.
I see. Starring this mystical seagull spaceship.
Also, you're welcome, everybody. I decided to add subtitles just to be on the safe side. So, you may be wondering, what is Tonic Trouble? So, Tonic Trouble is a 3D platformer starring another limbless hero, a purple alien from an unknown planet named Ed.
A schmoll?
Unfortunately, Ed here is a hopeless romantic. So hopeless, in fact, that it gets into trouble with some of the higher-ups of the Albatross.
Oop.
Oh, so he's a specific alien race known as the schmoll, and the buffer ones are the...
I don't think they're called Schmoll. I think that was just that's just one of those, like, vulgar nicknames you give to someone you hate.
Oh.
Ow.
For all I know, maybe it's racially insensitive to the people on their planet.
But unfortunately, in hiding out from his troubles, stumbled upon something he really shouldn't have. Oh no! I'm sorry.
Ugly cry.
Forever a bachelor. Poor Ed.
Also, something of note, I say this as someone that has not really had any experience with the game outside of watching reviews of it. This FMV that we're watching is exclusive to the PC version. If you play this on the N64, you don't get this.
Yeah, and honestly, I just think this one's a lot more engaging. Which is funny, too, because I own this game, or I didn't own this game per se, but I did own Rayman 2 The Great Escape, and I do believe the opening FMV could be found inside that game's internal data.
Huh.
Oh my. That seems to... That soda's got some kick.
Oh yeah, soda, beer, so whatever sort of liquor, whatever the case it is, it's got some very dangerous properties, so Ed made the unfortunate mistake of dumping it on the Earth.
Yeah.
Meanwhile...
Well, I'm sure there's nothing like valuable on that planet.
You know, Rayman's world definitely looks a lot more 3D these days. What do you say, fellas?
Yeah. Oh.
Thank you, God.
No mind if I do.
Unlike Ed, who was not at all a drinker, this guy knows what he's doing. Except, well, you know, that's some alien stuff.
Oh my!
Turn into the Tasmanian Devil.
God.
Oh.
And one drop is enough to completely dilute the entire water supply.
Yeah, and change the entire Earth into something even crazier than what you'd find in Rayman's world.
Yeah, I was about to say that's very potent for it to work like that fast, considering it wasn't that long ago since he dropped it.
This time, drinks are on me, and everybody's gonna get a taste.
Oh, that is not the kind of voice I expected a body like that to have.
And, you know, naturally, Ed is in big trouble.
Yeah.
Contemptuously ignoring the most rudimentary Protect-type regulations, and thereby having provoked
Oh no,
a
we're
level
on trial.
17 ecological disaster.
Yeah?
The court hereby pronounces you guilty and sentences you to repair the damage done.
You know, not the worst sentencing I've ever heard of.
Oh. Hey, isn't that the general from Rayman 2?
We're not even at Rayman 2 yet. Stick to the script.
Oh, okay. We'll remember.
But yeah, it's so funny because this general guy, you only see in this FMV in Tonic Trouble, and this isn't even a factor in the N64 version.
No.
Then you get Rayman 2 later on, where he actually makes a guest appearance, being a freaking...
As a salesman.
Like, not even just a war profiteer.
Oh, for sure. Like, supplying them with a very dangerous vehicle. But anywho...
Mission accomplished. Sheer perfection.
Honestly, though, despite being an FMV only character, he's probably one of my favorite things in this whole game.
His delivery was very fun, and therefore, Ed, it's up to you. And now I'm just seeing, and all I can sit here and think to myself is, now hold on, if this proved enough of a success that they would use this for Rayman 2, Why did Rayman 2 get an FMV like this?
It's funny because I do recall that Tonic Trouble itself was the entire point of its creation was to pretty much be the testing grounds for the 3D engine that would eventually build Rayman 2. And, you know, this whole FMV and everything was like a few years into the making.
Yeah? Oh.
Oh!
Alright, Ed, do not fumble this.
Come on, get it. No, you passed
Grab the tonic. Oh!
Not the guy! Not the guy! You know, how do you do that when the man has no neck?
it. Whoa.
And unfortunately, he is way off course.
Do you comprehend? You idiot. Blow it, boy. You're on your own now. Let's bring back that container. You got that? Bring back that container.
Will do, officer.
I swear to drunk I'm not God. Oh!
What's all you stars?
Nope.
Oh! Dead.
Goodbye.
Ow.
Yeah, dead. I'm serious. Just dead.
So yeah, that was our riveting opening for Tonic Trouble, and now we come to the gameplay proper. So first things first, like we don't start with a proper platformer. We gotta slide our way down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah.
What a start.
And yeah, comes the point of saying, yeah, never beaten this game before. So, what do we have to expect, James?
Okay, so here's the thing regarding Tonic Trouble. A big factor into this game is that we're going to be collecting a whole lot of swirlies. In fact, if I can help it, I'll see if I can try to get every single swirly in the game, because kind of in the same way as Rayman 1, you have to collect most, if not all of them, in order to beat the game.
Oh, they're your okay. So they're your lums.
Alum/electoons, and those all those floating thermometers there. If you collect a certain amount of them, you will be able to increase Ed's health.
Oh,
which you
geez.
can see on the left portion of the screen.
Okay, nice. If say you didn't get all the swirly thingies in this frantic slide, is there a way to replay this?
Yes, there is. Once we're done with this whole slippy slidey area, there's actually two paths you can.
Oh, hey, Rayman.
Hey, Rayman. Bye, Rayman. Assuming that's Rayman. Like, I know there's some sites sorting, like there's some sources citing that that's supposed to be Rayman who got, you know,
Slammed
ran
into the
himself
wall.
slammed into the wall. However, upon looking at the sprite further, I wouldn't be surprised if that's supposed to be like one of the random soldiers you encounter throughout the whole game, because they're also limbless and share and are, you know, naked.
Yeah.
Okay.
I will say though, like, if it is supposed to be Rayman, like, he's apparently much bigger than Ed, considering how big that imprint is compared to Ed.
Yeah. Oh yeah, so I guess while we do this whole sleepy slidey thing again, because one of those pathways I did take will actually let us retry it, assuming we did not get everything, and if we didn't beat the par time you see on the bottom portion of the screen.
Gotcha.
Since I was able to beat the par time, though, I was able to get 5 extra swirlies, or, you know, for the sake of the rest of this playthrough, let's just call them antidote samples.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Antidote.
Antidote. But otherwise, what was I gonna say? Okay, so as you're seeing right, this is kind of one of those common knowledge things to those that are actually familiar with this game, but to those that don't, what I'm playing right here is the retail PC version of Tonic Trouble, which is essentially the quote-unquote finished version of the game. It's about as smooth as it'll ever be. It runs like butter. And the level design is made in such a way where, you know, it's manageable. Those that have also played the N64 version of the game should be more or less familiar with this. There is another version of the game that was released slightly earlier called the Tonic Trouble Special Edition. Now, they call it the Special Edition, but it's actually the beta build of the game, which is almost completely different from what we ended up getting, for both better and for worse.
Oh my. Nice. But
Yeah.
not nice, but nice. You got the antidote!
Yeah. So, you know what? Let's appreciate this much. How we're able to. Well, I guess it's not as obvious here since we're slipping and sliding right now. But let's take into appreciation that with Ed's controls here, he's able to move anywhere he wants, however he wants. It really does not matter in the slightest. Whereas
Okay.
in the special edition, it took a page from the likes of Resident Evil and Tomb Raider, in that it's the game plays with tank controls.
That's
Yeah,
not
so
good.
kind of like the original Gex.
The original Gex.
Well, not Gex, Croc.
Yeah, you know what? That's a better comparison. It's like Croc. Ah, nuts.
So,
Oh, you beat it though, but yeah, that's not good. That you'd go to tank controls as opposed to just what was already clearly working.
Right. I mean, to be fair, this was just before they were able to lay the groundwork that would eventually become this version of the game in Rayman 2. So they had to work with what was already established at the time.
I'm Susie.
Hi, Susie. So I don't know why I just see this whole plot point going around. Like, I guess it makes better sense if you actually have the FMV in mind, with Ed being a hopeless romantic and all. So he just meets this Earth floozy for the first time and just immediately is like, I want you.
I want you. What?
What?
I have to draw you.
You're the reason why cavemen splatted against walls.
Anyway, she mentioned something about a professor.
Yes, actually. The big professor type fella who's going to be helping us throughout our journey is currently locked up.
Oh no.
When you finish courting my daughter, I'd appreciate it if you'd get me out of here.
He's a hero character, right? Definitely not a villain.
Who, Ed? Yeah, he's totally
No,
a
I
hero.
meant the
He's the
professor
professor.
guy who looked
Oh,
like
the
a
professor.
deranged Professor Wily.
That's fair. He totally looks deranged, I will give you that. And I will admit, it's on... You know what, I can all my train of thought. The point is, don't worry, he's totally legitimate, and we're actually going to help him out.
Okay, let's go to the dock. Save it. Okay. Oh, thank
Oh,
you.
yes, in
yeah.
any other game, he totally would look like the villain.
Yeah.
Okay. So, all right, and now we're gonna go help him, and I have to deal with the fact that we keep seeing the Ubisoft logo. And
Yeah, that is probably the one thing I will say about the retail PC release that I kind of really, really dig, is just all these really flashy, like, transition pieces.
yeah. Oh, and I'm assuming the voice acting was only in the PC version as well.
Yes.
Okay, so
The retail, actually the special edition of the game also had voice acting, but it was a lot different. In fact, I want to say it was much closer to what the FMV gave us, considering this all was like made very later on, for lack of a better word. So anyway, that fellow over there is Agent XYZ. He will be our glorified tutorial person.
okay.
And much like everything else in this kooky, crazy world, he is nothing more than a newspaper with eyes on it.
I should have known.
I mean, it's a fun design.
Ew.
Like, it plays on the trope of, like, spies hiding behind newspaper and whatnot. Also, an interesting thing about, you mentioned voice work. In this game, like, I don't know if it's in all versions, but in this game, Ed is actually voiced by Rayman's actor, David Gasman.
Oh,
Yep, I believe that's been a constant since the very first build of the game.
well,
And
glad to see you.
it's
as
also
always,
funny because
yeah.
actually Ed was voiced by two actors for the sake of this game. He was voiced by, again, David Gasman for Rayman, and for a very specific transformation, they even got Billy West to voice him.
Right.
Oh yeah, because we are gonna have to eventually get to all the tonics and stuff. Because you'll be thinking, how the hell are we gonna get all those?
You may be wondering how Ed's going to be able to get all that. Well, let's not worry about that right now.
Good night, everybody. No, done. So
My friend here can use your car.
that's right, a flying car. Why not? So ultimately, oh, what the fuck was that?
That was just him putting himself back together.
Yeah.
Don't do that again. That freaked me out. Do something else. Do a different sound or something. I don't know. So
So
ultimately,
I guess it is.
okay.
So it's kind of funny looking back on the retail release and realizing like just how much more smooth it all looks compared to what we'd get with Rayman 2.
Uh-huh.
Though I guess it's also funny too, considering
Oh.
that, you know, by comparison, I'd still say Rayman 2 is the much better game. Like, not to say Tonic Trouble's terrible or anything like that, but it definitely does feel like baby's first 3D platformer.
I can see
Yeah, you're not wrong.
With a slight hint of Metroidvania on the side as well. Whoops!
that.
Careful there.
That wasn't supposed to happen.
But
What?
is there fall damage?
No, there's no fall damage, thankfully.
Okay.
What was that, like, special animation he did?
Yeah, that was just a gaffe. Considering I was just about to hang on that ledge around the same time he did his victory pose.
Gotcha.
Oh.
It just happens.
But yeah, how would you say how this game like handles like difficulty and whatnot?
it's mostly manageable. I really can't think of anything like super duper difficult that you have to go through in this game, aside from like a few bits of puzzle solving, and maybe some of the occasional abilities that Ed gets along the way.
Okay.
Because much like say, you know what? I guess it's also comparable to Rayman in that throughout the game, Ed will get to learn some special powers that'll help him along the way, whether it be actually defending himself in combat or being able to actually fly. But for now, all he can really do is run around and jump and occasionally grab a nice little piece of Nestle's Crunch.
Oh, speaking of which,
Nestle's Crunch.
So the funny thing is that earlier we were actually helping fix the Doc's popcorn machine, because originally that's supposed to be a whole machine of popcorn that we were fixing. It wouldn't, like, how do I put this? Like, when you actually activate this machine, you actually get a little piece of popcorn, and Ed would eat it and transform into...
Crunchman.
Super Ed!
Oh. Or
Yeah.
that would have been my second guess.
that is weird though. Like, yeah, like, cause I do remember there were like versions that was just straight up popcorn, like you said. How come it's like crunched chocolates in this version?
My guess is that they had a deal with Nestle to advertise their Crunch bars. Which is so weird, because I think around the same time, I think that was when they were still selling their Bunch of Crunches. And that would have made a lot more sense to be made into a power-up as opposed to, like, pieces of the bar.
Right.
Though, that being said, though, oh, hello.
Oh, speaking of corn,
Stick fixing that machine. Now the corn people's revolution is underway. Down with all popcorn. Freedom to all corn.
You do know you're floating dangerously over lava, right?
Yeah, you should be cooking by now, buddy. Going back to the machine earlier, yeah, so in the PC version, it's Nestle Crunch, like pieces of Nestle's Crunch bars. In the special edition, it was honestly a very simplistic popcorn machine with no real pizzazz aside from like a real buff guy holding a piece of popcorn. In 64, it was a certain brand of popcorn, but I'm trying to remember. It was called Newman Zone. It was Newman Zone.
right?
There you go. Sorry, Cornman.
So, anyone here like their popcorn spicy?
I don't know. I've never had the spicy popcorn before. I have tried cheddar popcorn. It's pretty good.
I can see some people liking it. I like cheddar. I like the white cheddar caramel. The only issue is I wish there was a way to have without all like the powder stuff getting stuck on your fingers. Hate that stuff.
Nice.
I feel you there. Honestly, with me, when it comes to popcorn, I just mostly stick with like the super traditional stuff, especially if you're going to the movies.
Yeah, that's fair. Can't go.
usually
Yeah,
good.
can't go wrong with a little bit of salt, extra butter. God, that one movie theater.
I know there's also some people that like it with curry powder.
I don't think I've tried that.
I could see that working for the same way of like, like the meat powder or like freaking like buffalo seasoning and.
Oh dear.
So yeah, unfortunately, the Doc's Robo suitcase has also gone haywire, so we're gonna have to take care of that before we can free the Doc.
It is neat how much of this world. Oh, it is.
Ow.
It is neat how much of this you can just explain away to just the Earth is weird because of soda.
I don't think it's even soda. I think it's just straight up alien alcohol.
Or that too.
Which I'm surprised they didn't just play further. Well, okay, you know what? I'm surprised they didn't play further into the whole like, what's the word? Like trying to oh, not the toasters.
Man.
But yeah, I'm just surprised they didn't just play along further with the whole notion of how it's thanks to the dangers of alcohol that the Earth has become such a twisted wonderland full of not even a wonderland, just a whole twisted world of nasties and whatnot.
So remember, don't go ahead.
I'm just saying, like, I find it weird that Ubisoft were responsible for one of the very first PSA games ever created.
Yeah.
So remember, don't ever drink unless it's French wine. Buy as much French wine as you possibly can. It is now your water.
It is now your water.
It is the nectar of the gods.
Inject it directly into your veins. Let it flow through your veins instead of blood.
Okay, I'm actually gonna check real quick to see if this is actually. I'm gonna double check and see if this is actually a wine from France. No, it is not. Good. I'm not support. No, it's one of the only wine I. What was that, Doug?
Oh no. Just a little snort.
I heard like a snort, but it sounded like if you go back and listen, it sounded almost like. Oh dear. I know it was. I imagine it was a snort, but it sounded like identical to the Lego break apart sound.
Oh god.
Anyway,
What the fuck?
like seriously, go back and listen to it later. Anyway, so okay, the only wine I particularly enjoy is a kind of a sweet dessert wine called Moscato, and that's an Italian wine.
I see.
You know, it's funny considering that weren't they enemies of the French once?
I can believe it. I only know from that one Max that Hot Diggity Demon that one video talking about the problem with Apu and why he thinks the situation is very like misunderstood and blown out of proportions.
Oh yeah.
Making the honestly pretty poignant comparison of Mario, another character who is not played by the person of their originating like nationality yet beloved by millions.
Right. It's like both characters aren't necessarily. They're not necessarily offensive, if at all.
And
really.
So then the line came about of, and I guess I have to picture he is. I never thought of it, but the last name probably proves it. He was like, and Charles Martinet is not Italian. He's French, the sworn enemy of Italians, and just then just Photoshop Charles Martinet with a striped shirt, long cigar, and baguette and everything.
I just love the moment we transformed to Super Ed. This whole Robo Suitcase is just scared for his life.
Well,
Of course, I mean, if a guy that big strides to you like that, proceeds to slap you around and kick you as he is, wouldn't you be scared too?
Just kick him. I love this. Not really a boss fight. You just assault him and no, never mind. He's dead.
Oh yeah, no, he's nothing more than the torn up leather and a stick, which we will now use as our own.
Yeah.
You really couldn't find a stick anywhere else in this world. You had to kill a man to
No.
find it.
There's no stick quite like this stick.
Well, now Doug's got me thinking. I'm gonna Google see if I can find anything about basically if someone's ever drawn a Tonic Trouble comic ever.
I'm sure, like, there may be one.
I was about to say, I know there's Tonic Trouble fan art, but I don't know about a full-on comic.
Yeah, considering, again, this is like... Honestly, name me a more niche IP from Ubisoft aside from Tonic Trouble.
Oh, I'll find one. Are you alright, man?
Oh, he's just happy to be out.
Pay no mind to the fact that this man has an eye patch and one of his eyeballs is
On the top.
is on top of his head as opposed to literally being on the eye socket.
Well, that is an eye. I thought it was just like a head bump.
A detail that I love and unfortunately was not present in the N64 version.
Oh, also, what was that little glitch?
No. You know what it is? In the N64 version of the game, he didn't even have the iPod, like the eye patch. He still had his like two eyes there, and then a third eye on his head.
Oh.
Again, he's a freak of nature, much like everything else.
Yay, weird alcohol. So yeah, in terms of other...
Honestly, it's funny you bring that up because I'm not even sure if he's a byproduct of all the insanity from the container or not.
Sure, we got a spring. What do we got a spring for?
Okay, so now we've come to the big goal of the game. We need to help this guy invent this machine that'll help us reach Grog's lair.
Gotcha. Okay, and thus...
Also, for those wondering, Grog is the Viking dude who we saw at the beginning of the game just go nuts with the container.
Okay.
He's enslaved. He's on his way to enslave the world with his newfound powers.
And I see. The 6 objects are the antidote thingies we've been looking for?
No. The 6 objects are... Actually, no. I'd say the six objects themselves are more comparable to the Electoons than the swirlies are.
Okay.
Basically, we need to collect the pieces of his machine if we're actually going to want to finish the game. But the swirlies are still just as important because we will need a certain amount of them in order to, as the game... Well, okay, it's more so something that the N64 version makes more of a mention of.
Uh-huh.
Supposedly, if we collect enough of them, we will become immune to the effects of the can.
Oh, and that could be very useful to actually, not just get warped ourselves when we try try and go there and
Which is weird because in the grand scheme of things, what these swirlies are going to unlock, I'm honestly not even certain if that's truly what's supposed to happen. I just get the feeling it was one of those, oh shit, we need to actually find a purpose for these swirlies. What do we do?
oh, I thought you had the idea. And, oh my god.
So, if I'm not mistaken, the springs we're going to need to find are found in the vegetable headquarters. And the vegetable headquarters is where we're going to be facing the most vicious veggies known to the earth.
The king of evil and fruit, or whatever. And I mean, again, it's nice to see like the expressiveness of usual Ubisoft games being put on display. Usually these were like facial expressions I only could like assume I'd ever see on Clark.
Yeah. Though, man, looking back, it's still weird seeing Ed without eyebrows.
Oh yeah, because like they're not on the game model.
Inform me that you have just infiltrated the killer vegetables patch.
I'm right here.
Well done, Agent Ed, but watch out.
You know, nobody else is here. You can use. We don't have to use our indoor voices.
That
What indoor voice?
200 centuries of stews, soups, and other veggie dishes. Now they've joined forces with Grog to stop.
Man, just imagine that for a moment. The point where an actual food source that we tend to use can finally turn against us.
Oh
I
dear.
always knew it. The attack of the killer tomatoes.
Essentially. So one thing I'll definitely say is that this is something that I'd say Rayman 2 does a better job of, but I do kind of like how even with this game, heck, even the special edition to a much bigger extent, how they were trying to put a more of a darker spin on the usual cartoony platformer aesthetic.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it be the way it looks, or hell, even the score of the game, because I do believe the same composer of Rayman 2 also worked on Tonic Trouble.
That's interesting. It's kind of funny how much the staff between the two really correlates. Because, I imagine, like, the engine, like you said, some of the actors, but I never thought, like, it even went beyond that. Like, I didn't think it was the same composer.
Like, for all intents and purposes, Tonic Trouble and Rayman 2 were essentially, like, sibling projects. And even though Tonic Trouble was supposed to come out first, multiple delays ended up making it that it would release roughly around the same time as Rayman 2.
That wasn't too bad.
Oh,
Okay,
the
so
poor child.
Hey, you got it, boss! So now we're gonna have to play a little mind game with this here pot of cauliflower.
bean pod. Oh yeah. Oh no.
Oh,
I'm no bowling pin.
wow.
I lived a good life. Oh god.
Down she goes.
So how did you do it? You just lured them into each other?
Yes. Also, you may be wondering what the heck this is all about. This just means that we have extended our health.
Oh, nice. You're another big perk.
Yep, you collect enough thermometer pieces, and that's how you extend your health. And look, judging from how much health we have right now, there's a butt ton of health to earn.
Best of luck.
I just find it funny that he just, like, briefly turns into Super Ed just for the sake of flaunting his extended health bar.
That's what we
Yeah,
do.
I mean,
Bo.
I just feel a lot more energy, like, pulsating through my non-existent limbs.
Careful, easy does. Whoa.
What's funny is that I do recall in the beta version of the game, instead of your health being displayed by that thermometer, your health was in the form of spades.
Like card spades?
Yeah, like the spades you'd find on cards. And it's one of those things where it seems random at first glance, but then you realize, oh, if I flip the spade upside down, it looks like a heart.
Oh, I thought you say a butt. Yeah, heart makes it more sense.
I mean, depending on who you talk to, that's not wrong.
Gotta learn how to fly.
Yeah, just for a few extra optional stuff.
So, Douglas, since it's been a little bit quiet on your end, do you have any experience or knowledge of Tonic Trouble from your experience?
Not too much, but I do remember seeing the big gameplay of this years ago, but it's been a long time since I've gone back to even seeing it.
Yeah, just again, when it comes to like Ubisoft's like past, it's the only thing that people will primarily remember for is with Rayman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, like, considering the fact that, and this isn't even exclusive to just Ubisoft, I just mean that for, like, anyone that tries to make, like, a Rayman fan product, because, you know, there has been, like, a handful of Rayman games that have been made. I mean, at the time of recording, we just technically finished doing one of them. But considering how, like, similar they are physically, and the fact that, like, there's not quite as much of an effort to resurrect Tonic Trouble by comparison, I'm kind of surprised more people don't try to just basically assimilate Ed into being something within the Rayman universe. Like, maybe have him be, like, you know, like an unlockable character within Rayman games.
I mean, that would be nice.
Would've been
like,
cool.
You know, that's honestly kind of a missed opportunity. They didn't do that for either Origins or Legends.
Right.
So I guess then that would beg the question: how do you make him hover?
Well, I'm trying to think, because, like, I know that...
His bow tie?
Oh yeah, the bow tie could have been worked. Like,
Yeah, no, the bow tie, that would make perfect sense. Because that is actually, that is something we'll get to unlock later, is that we'll be able to glide around the air with a massive bow tie.
Right. I'm also just trying to figure... That being said, I'm trying to figure out how you would, like, display that visually. Like, would he... Just to stay consistent with, like, Rayman's animations, would the bow tie just, like, briefly just be on his head?
If not on his head, it probably just enlarge itself and then flap around. Honestly, it wouldn't be too dissimilar to how, in Legends, when you give Rayman the Mario costume, like, just out of random, freaking 2 wings appear on his hat.
Oh, yeah.
no, get back here, you. Oh.
Come back!
I'm not finished with you. Duh! Anyway, Super Ed.
Yeah, time to munch on some more
Nom, nom,
crunch.
nom.
Super Ed!
Does he always announce himself?
I do still have to wonder where the thought process was to advertise Nestle to be the big, like, ow.
You just kicked him in the jaw. What the
Nope.
fuck? Ow!
Come on, get over here.
Kick him right in the no man's lands.
There you go. But as far as, like, using Nestle Crunch for it, my guess is that, like, yeah, you know, like we mentioned for product placement, and I'm guessing they picked
an angry lum.
Oh,
Yeah, it looks like a deranged lum.
Yeah.
a dark lump, if you will. But anyway, I'm imagining maybe they went with, like, the little bits of Nestle Crunch because it's, like, the only bit of, like, product placement candy they can use that, like, closely resembles popcorn enough to where they don't have to make an entire new model for it.
That's fair. Now I'm just also thinking, like, I know, like, personally speaking, I think Bunch of Crunch would make a lot of sense, but I'm also wondering, when did Bunch of Crunch even become a thing?
I don't know, because I'm trying to remember if, because of all the Crunch stuff I've had, I'm trying to remember if I've ever had Bunch of Crunch before, because I've had the Crunch Bars, I've had the Crunch Bites, but I don't remember ever trying the Bunch of Crunch.
I mean, Bunch of Crunch is essentially just, you know, like the Crunch Bites under a different name.
Ah.
Damn it.
What's up?
What's up?
That was stupid. From a meme just playing in my head.
I will share.
Don't worry, Rayman fan. We got Tonic Trouble remakes in the process just for your entertainment.
I mean, you say that, but I feel like there might be some people that would appreciate a Tonic Trouble remake. I mean, I know there's technically a fan-made one that's being in the works.
No kidding, really? Who's making it, or what do you know about it?
I don't know about it. Like, all I know is that they showed it off at one of the Rayman Alives, the 2023 version.
Oh, that's right.
Right, and they showed, like, a little bit of one of the environments, and they've been kind of a little silent since then. We might see it in this year's Rayman Alive, though, because I know they skipped last year's, but I've been told that we are going to be having another one, we are going to be having another one this year in, I think, September?
That's right. Is the Rayman Picross game finished now?
I don't know if that's finished either. I honestly have not been keeping up with the devs for that one.
Oh, because I was really
All right,
excited for
time
it.
to turn on the pressure cooker.
Oh no. One.
Oop.
Yeah, just one.
Okay, well, this... See, this is why microwaves are just easier. Anyway,
Even if the food doesn't taste quite as good through a microwave.
I know. And we all...
That's why we need more air fryers in the world.
I know, because otherwise bread and chicken, it just don't... It gets all soft and gummy and icy. It needs to be fried. So what are you supposed to do? Like lure them, or maybe lure them near it and then hit them?
Yeah, because I think either they'll be aiming for you or they're just gonna spin around wherever they feel like.
Oh,
Aw. Oh, wait, can it? There you go.
And that's why you never mix a flamethrower with a bagpipe.
You get the funeral march of your...
What the fuck is that face back there?
Oh, yeah.
I just saw that thing. That was like... That would spook me if I just looked behind me and it was there all along. Anyway, okay, so it's called Rayman Lumograms. It was announced like a year ago, and I want to see, like, how's it doing? What's going on?
Well, like I
What's the
said...
dealio?
Like I said, you could, like, follow the person that... Because I think the main dev of it does have a Twitter that you can follow for updates. I don't know if he migrated over the Blue Sky, though, so I think for now you're going to have to, like, just resort to Twitter if you want updates on it. Okay.
Especially because like, it does look cool. Apparently, like, there's actually an actual story to it where they're using the Muse of Poets, who was a character that was only ever mentioned in the Rayman 2 guidebook, and they're making her the antagonist of it.
Huh.
And it's interesting because it's like, it is basically like Macross, but like all of them are Rayman themed. Like you even can like change the aesthetics to reflect different Rayman games. And apparently, I don't know how they're finagling at it, but there's even like boss encounters that you have to deal with while you're figuring out the Macross puzzles.
So, once you're done with the level, you'll see Susie at the very end, and depending on if you get all the pieces or not, she'll let you know if you know you're good to go, or if you're still missing any.
Okay.
And that's pretty much her whole point, just to be an end goal for Ed to follow.
Just remember, you're playing a Ubisoft title.
Yeesh.
Yep. Pay no mind the fact that she's got very big eyes.
Very big eyes.
Maybe that's where Murphy got from Rayman 3. I don't know.
Yeah. So I guess I could say as an added fun fact, for the longest time, I used to think to myself, why is this guy named Ed? It seems like a pretty random-ass name to give to a very eccentric-looking alien fella with a big boat, with a bow tie and everything. But then I looked further into the game development, and then I realized, oh, I get it now. Because originally, this game went under the prototype name Head.
Head?
Like H-E-D. Head.
Oh.
Springs ready and jumping. Good. While I was waiting, I put together a pea shooter for you.
A pea shooter, huh?
Come back when you're ready.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I was supposed to frickin'. I forgot. I was supposed to look up frickin' like I was supposed to look up like frickin' like who all the voice actors in this game are.
Aside from Gazman, that's the only one that I know for a fact in the game.
I guess the only real thing to note, though, is that I do know that they're, like, aside from David Gassman, I think the voice acting in general is very different between both the retail and the special edition of the game. And I'll be perfectly honest, I think I prefer the way the Doc sounds in the special edition, because he sounds like an honest-to-God, like, doctor type.
God, I haven't heard this audience in a while. Jesus.
For your first training assignment, shoot 5 ducks.
Why are we shooting the ducks?
Because it's for target practice.
Oh, okay, the choppy-headed ones.
So the funny thing is that we're just taking the same stick we just found earlier, and and the Doc somehow retrofitted it into a pea shooter.
I call it the hole.
The whole.
Behold its holiness. But yeah, the pea shooters are a makeshift, our long-range weapon for the game, and I'll give credit where it's due. It's you'll get plenty of mileage out of it, if nothing else. That being said, though, I do find it also funny that the ammo you need for this thing are bees.
Bees?
Well, now they're darts.
Well, they're bees that are exactly they're kind of shaped like blow darts. Hello, sheep.
Oh, right, balloon flying sheep or whatever they are. Oh, there they go.
That's
I know.
one. That's two. Also, I will say this much. One positive I will definitely say regarding the pea shooter is that ammo is thankfully not that hard to find, and when you do find it, you usually get a pretty plentiful supply.
That's good.
Assuming you're not super reckless with it, you'll be a-okay.
I'll need 6 propeller blades. They're hidden in the North Plain.
So, you may be wondering, what exactly is the Doctor trying to build?
I call it a Ed.
Ed? But that's my name!
He just reveals it's just you in the thing. It's like,
I'm building you, my protege.
in your image. You're beautiful.
You're beautiful.
I like that.
Beautiful.
Alright, let's see. Okay, so now we're sneaking in the Doctor's house. Oh, hey, Doctor's daughter.
Hi, Susie.
It's a good place for takeoff, Ed, but I don't think you know how to fly yet.
Oh, that's nothing. Watch me.
Watch me.
Well,
Gerbil, gerbil, gerbil.
well, I tried. You know, it's surprising. They say that we need a certain amount of, like...
Where'd they get this?
God, have a little more faith in me, Doctor.
I've been gone for 30 seconds. What the hell, man?
I just love the freaking immediate, like, reversal of this guy's attitude towards you if you, like, decide to talk to him at any point without getting all the parts he needs yet.
My boy, I couldn't have more faith in you. This world depends on such strong heroes. What the fuck are you doing here? Get the fuck out of my get out of my sight! You are now banned from visiting my daughter in your dreams.
Even in my dreams?
Especially in your dreams.
But how can you do that? Oh, it's very simple. And then he just climbs into his head.
Also, what do you think this eye on the top of my head was for?
Now you just give me the image if he does. I know I brought up this comparison before, but he did just the same, like, head out of the ear trick that that one guy from Psychonauts does.
Uh-huh.
Like, he just does that whenever you're, like, whenever Ed here's thinking about Susie.
Honestly, just like, you know, take away the unfortunate eye being located on the top of his head thing, his face does kind of look like someone I would expect in Psychonauts.
So this right here is a bit of a schmuck bait, because there's two targets on both sides of the on this wall and the wall opposite from it. And I was thinking to myself, I need to shoot both targets in order to bring down both bridge pieces.
Man.
Alas, it don't quite work like that.
What? How do it work?
How it actually works is that you only need to just worry about one target. Because you got that one down there, and then you shoot it again, and then that brings down the other half of the bridge.
What?
That's fucked up.
So why are there two? You can view both targets from both sides of the area and, like...
Again, it's schmuck bait.
Well, that's stupid.
Or either that or playing with expectations. Also, I do kind of like this about the PC version of the game is that, as you've no doubt noticed, like, it's already, like, the sky's looking pretty grisly out tonight.
Yes.
Like, there's a whole day and night cycle that the PC version of the game has.
Oh, that's kind of nifty, actually. It's, like, in real time.
Yes, I believe it is in real time.
That's pretty nifty. So yeah, I'm looking it up. I'm trying to find anything I can about this game, and like, all I'm finding is that like it's yeah,
It is indeed a game,
but I have no idea where it is in progress. Like the last like anything I got was from like I got nothing unless I check out the Discord server. I'll check out it. Oh no, the tomatoes. What the fuck? Oh, there it is.
yeah.
Oh, they just keep
Now
running
then.
into the wall.
Unfortunately, the door is locked. But who needs to worry about locked doors when you're Super Ed?
Oh
Bye-bye.
my god! So I forgot. Was Billy West ever the Tasmanian Devil?
No, but it'd be kind of neat to see him try it.
Because
Yeah?
that voice sounds like bye bye. What for you buried dead in the cold ground?
Because, like, as far as, like, Looney Tunes go, like, Bugs I know goes without saying. I believe he voiced Porky a handful of times. And, I'm trying to remember if there was, like, oh, Elmer. Elmer's also another one that goes without saying. I don't know
Yeah,
if
Elmer I think is the most obvious one.
I don't know if he's ever voiced any other Looney Tune outside of that, or if he has, they're not really immediately coming to memory.
All I keep thinking of are the few times in Looney Tunes history where Bill Farmer played them.
Oh yeah, because he was a foghorn in both One brief line in Space Jam, and in both of the Looney Tunes racing games.
I think it was also
Yeah.
Sylvester.
We got balls!
Oh yeah, he was Sylvester in Space Jam 1, yeah?
Oh, look, it's Daddy, everybody.
So yeah, meet our major like enemy variety in the game. I forget what their name is exactly, but all I remember is they're like the guards of hell or something like that.
Oh.
Oh.
Yeah, they go pretty hardball with the naming scheme of some of these enemies.
We went from attacking sentient vegetables to demons.
I mean, their very existence may as well be considered the work of demons.
They're demons. They're intergalactic demons.
Intergalactic demons.
They're freaking interdimensional demons, okay?
That's what there's.
I'm telling you, that's what happens when you bring the tonic to Earth. The tonic's making all the frogs gay!
It probably would actually in this universe. I'd like to see that.
We need more gay frogs.
Rayman, I'm gay.
But you're married.
That's pretty gay of me.
What the fuck?
Dude, that'd be a really sad twist to the whole
My gosh.
marriage between both Globox and Uglet. And Globox was never happy, even with all 600 plus of his children.
Oh no. it feels
Maybe
like a
that's why
Robin
you never
Williams
see
movie.
them in any of the other games.
That is true.
All I'm gonna say is that it just reminds me. All I can think of when I think of gay frogs are Jolly from Banjo-Tooie.
Right.
Because I'm fairly certain that it's
Oh, that he was 100% meant to be that kind of stereotype.
fair enough. Fair enough.
Now, was it done tastefully? That's up for your own interpretation.
That's up for the fan to decide.
I mean, being fair, how many people do you see actually, chastising Rare for his portrayal?
Almost nobody brings it up.
Guess it's also a matter of how many times do you see people remember he exists.
You'd be surprised.
I mean, it's true. I don't see it too often, and whenever I do see it nowadays, it's on Twitter or Tumblr. Now that now that his frickin' nuts and bolts design crossed over into the Tumblr like Onceler kind of like vibes in terms of his design.
I have a hard time believing that a Jolly Roger of all people is considered that.
Have you seen his nuts and bolts design?
I've seen this nuts and bolts design. I'm just saying I don't think it's enough to warrant him to have that kind of title.
All right, we're gonna have to bring that back up. We're gonna have to. I was about to frickin' say we're about to re-educate you. No, we have to bring you. We have to reintroduce you to that design. No, okay. I'm just
Well,
gonna stop
again,
talking.
I know what he looks like in the game. It's just that I didn't know that it apparently awakened people.
People dig cloaks, not me, but I'm sure some people.
Yeah? Yeah?
So everybody, this is the lava land now to distract from what just happened. There's a fire breathing like.
Okay, so I just had to check just to make absolutely sure I wasn't speaking out of my ass. Yeah, all those buff dudes, all those buff dudes with goggles on are called Helling Guards.
It's very odd, but I'm digging this music. And I forget if you already mentioned, this is the same composer?
It's same composer, yeah, and again, still about... Honestly, it's about as good as all the stuff that he did for Rayman 2. If not, honestly, in some cases, I'd say it's even better than some of the stuff you hear in Rayman 2.
I would say
That's
some of these like
cool.
drum beats almost remind me of Rayman 3 a bit.
It's kind of funny because at least two of them, from what I've heard, from just reminded me, it's like, oh, that's where this came from when I was playing Rayman M for all these years.
Oh, the same music from M.
Oh.
Also, some of this music that you're hearing like was reused in M.
Yeah, for the racing areas, from what I remember.
I didn't know that, actually.
Yeah, if it's not the character themes, it's mainly the level themes itself.
Also, you may be
okay.
wondering what's up with these swirling vortexes all around. Thankfully, they don't really affect that in any way. They're mostly there for a later power-up. Assuming you need to backtrack to this. Assuming you need to backtrack here for whatever reason.
I was about to say for shits and giggles, man, it's just there to fuck with you.
Yeah.
Look at how weird this is. Be distracted, but not fair
I
enough.
mean, it's one of those things where you look and it's like, is that thing gonna hurt me? Do I need to be careful of it? But then you get closer, it's like, nah, it's totally harmless.
You don't gotta worry about it until you make a chopper out of your butt.
My butt?
Make a chopper out of your butt.
Wowie.
Says the Helen Guards.
Says the Helling Guards. All right, push.
Man, I still remember actually going through, like, during my time playing through the special edition of this game, and it's like, I will say for what it's worth, the controls were changed for the better for the retail version, but man, do I miss some of the intricacies of the original's level design. Like, it actually felt pretty, like, I don't know. It feels like there was a lot of thought put into them, if that makes any sense. Ow!
Oh,
what the hell?
Who hit you?
Oh, you bastard!
You got
Long shot done. But I mean, like,
you jerk.
but I mean, I assume again with like the idea of like what the special edition was, that like it's also meant to be that those designs were like it was just a different iteration, a different like draft of those levels that you were playing through.
Honestly, I also just like it for having. It feels like it had more bite put into it than what we got with the retail and N64 versions.
Did they rewrite the story a bit?
Not necessarily. No, actually, I guess that's the probably the big downer of the special edition, assuming you want to call it one, is that the story in the special edition wasn't. You can kind of tell it wasn't entirely finished because Susie is not a factor. Neither is Agent XYZ. In fact, yeah, I guess the big downside with the special edition is that there were some factors of its design and its story that were not finished. Like the only major character you had to really interact with was the Doctor. And by the time you actually reach the end of the game, where you're expected to face off against Grog, that just plays out in a cutscene. The whole obstacle of even the whole like end boss of that game is just reaching him.
Interesting. And then it's just done. Okay.
Yeah, like it's again, special edition had in some ways I do think it's better than the retail release. At the same time, though, you can absolutely tell why it was only a beta build that was only released for very select devices.
No.
Actually, I think that's the primary thing about it, is that Tonic Trouble's Special Edition was only really available as a pack-in for like specific graphic cards at the time. It wasn't actually released to the public in the same way that the retail release and the N64 versions were.
Okay.
That does make me wonder, though, because, again, I don't know if we're ever gonna, like, hear from it anytime soon, but for that Tonic Trouble fan remake, it makes me wonder, like, how much of it they are gonna, like, stick with the retail version, or how much of it they might try to borrow from the special edition.
I kind of hope they do a mix of both, because I think, again, there's merit to playing both versions of the game. It's just that, you know, they both have their slight downsides. Like with the retail version, the audio, like the sample rate of the music isn't quite as good, and again, you can definitely tell there's not as much detail packed into the backgrounds as the retail version. Otherwise, the special edition. Whereas the special edition, like the big drawback with that is, well, the tank controls.
Right.
Well, okay.
That being said, though, I guess that now would be a good time to actually plug another YouTube channel named, appropriately enough, Agent Ed, who actually did a 100% playthrough at that, of both the retail edition and the special edition. So if you want a better, insight into how those games run and how they, compare to one another, I would recommend giving that channel giving a look into that channel and their respective playthroughs.
All right.
Okay. I see. This brings you this activates magnet platforms. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
You too.
I need to adjust my settings. I think.
I don't know why it's still so funny looking at how the Helling soldiers are taken out with just like you just hit them with the blow dart and they just pop like balloons.
Again, it's odd. I'm trying to figure out if they have like some like other weird like property that the Tonic or whatever like gave them, but because it was like no, because the sheep have that happening, but not with them, and it's.
Well, I mean the Helmet guards are already kind of weird looking in and of themselves, and they pop like balloons when you take them out.
True.
That and some of them are even come pre-equipped with like some machinery, like one of those spinny hats that is propeller powered.
Well, for sure, but that's like that's how they fly. Again, which you think we'd be collecting propellers from them? Take them off their helmets and stuff.
would make sense, but no, you can only collect the ones that are clearly not on their person.
What was that thing in the lower left that just popped up?
Oh, that's that pops up whenever the game's saving.
Oh, okay. You just kind
Right.
of popped up saying, "I got a bowl."
Good for me.
Yeah, he does have that expression of, I got a floppy, yay for me!
Whoa!
You're not making me happy.
Die. More bees, more propellers. Doug, how you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good.
That's good. Ed ain't doing too hot. He could use your thoughts and prayers. Ed is going on a stressful journey at this moment.
Ed's been going through a lot.
It's times like these, Doug, that I could go for a really refreshing snack, such as a Nestle Crunch, available in stores right now from these. Anyway, so
You know, if there's one thing I will definitely say that I think would have been better for Tonic Trouble, or at the very least with Ed as a character, is that I kind of wish they kind of, like, in-game, they still played around with the whole idea of him being such a nervous wreck or a hopeless romantic, kind of the same way he was in the FMV.
they don't really
That'd be
play
cute.
with that too often.
They really don't. Like, after the FMV, he's really just your traditional smiley-ass, like, you know, hero type.
He's like, I'm just here. I fucked up.
Yeah. Does he have much dialogue of him actually saying anything to anybody, or is it just people talking to him? Like,
People talking to him. After the FMV, he gets no dialogue whatsoever.
ah.
Heck, I'd say with the N64 version, he may as well just be, you know, a mute.
Yeah, become a new Jack. World could use more of them.
Yeah, I guess it's funny when you really think about it. You got this guy who barely says a peep, and then you got Rayman, where with the sequels, he actually has a personality.
Yeah.
Sort of. 2, he has a bit of a personality. 3, apart from maybe 1 or 2 cuts.
Well, I'd say 3 has.
I love this detail. Frog's land is your land.
Enjoy everything.
Yeah, like
Don't
I
touch
would say there is still a bit of a personality in 3. The problem is just that he doesn't have enough screen time to really put that personality on display.
So all the other characters will get all the attention and love, like Razov and the Witch and Glowbox and the Bitch and these little headpieces and this.
And then you
woman.
have like Origins and Legends, where depending on who you talk to, you could say that his character kind of, maybe not regressed, but definitely took a heel turn.
True.
He just became a goofball.
It was one of his off days.
Because that's something that I still kind of find interesting to this day, whereas, like, I still see people have discussions, like, thankfully it doesn't get quite as hostile as, like, what you would expect out of, like, Sonic, and even depending on who you talk to, Mario, but there are still a lot of fans that kind of, like, have their disagreements on, like, how they prefer Rayman as a character, you know, like, whether they prefer him to be, like, a little bit more of, like, a kind, stoic character like he is in 2 and 3, or if they prefer the more, like, you know, thick-headed, abrasive side that's in, like, Origins and Legends.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that just also plays. That's just is kind of like it plays a part of the series' apparent identity crisis, which is honestly kind of funny thinking about it because you know we always get Sonic shit for that, but Rayman is like throughout his entire legacy has been nothing but that because you get Rayman 1, which is all very cute, colorful, and cartoony, and then you get Rayman 2, which is pretty much like. What would happen if you took all that and replaced it with the Dark Crystal?
Yeah.
And then came Rayman 3, which added in Matter.
Matter.
And then, of course, like, Origins and Legends, which is, like, its own wacky thing. Like, I feel like the only reason it's not quite as, like... Well, I think the only reason it's not quite as glaring in Rayman's case as it is in Sonic's case is that, to be perfectly honest, I feel like, in terms of ratio, I think Rayman's had, like, a more generous balance of good to bad games than Sonic has.
I guess, to be fair, it's also a matter that Sonic has been in far more games than Rayman has.
That too.
So the disparity isn't quite as obvious with most players.
Ah, fair. Ah, Professor.
Anyway, Doctor, we got your propellers for you.
At last, 6 propeller blades. Excellent. Excellent. We're getting there. While you were gone, I adjusted your bow tie a bit to help you fly.
How'd you do that when I've had my bow tie on the whole time?
Have you had it on the whole time? He just sees it suddenly gone.
Hey, look over there. It's like, what? And then it's like, it's gone. Also, that was a big bow tie.
Listen carefully, Agent Ed. To fly, press the jump.
I guess I will say this much, considering that this is the point where we do get the bow tie, like the bow tie glider now. I think it would have been kind of an interesting detail if Ed didn't even have the bow tie at first. That would actually like have it be something he just gets right at this point in time,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
like to show the physical growth of the character.
Alright, so this is what I got as far as voice actors are concerned, because BTVA, not too helpful right now, which means these may not be a reputable source, but IMDb may have me covered. Alright.
Well, while Ed shows off his gliding prowess, what voices did lend their talents to Tonic Trouble?
Alright, let me get my old man reading glasses out. Okay,
Old man reading glasses.
Alright, let's see here.
So Rayman flies by making a choppa out of his hair, whereas Ed goes the Mario 64 approach and uses a bow tie to glide around.
Interesting.
Use your
Look
bow
at this-
tie to fly in the air.
Yep.
We're gonna do this one more time. 'Cause I feel like we have to do it for all these platforms, actually. Look at this smug-ass Eddie from Ed, Ed and Eddie face on this platform.
Yeah, and then when you
Any
land on
second
it,
now.
he's like, "Yee,
Quarter. I can't do the impression.
for a quarter."
I'll help you out, Ed. Oh my god.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, you see? You see how it clicks in now?
I'll help you, Ed. For a quarter.
You could be our fourth Ed.
I was like, you could put a Ed squared. I don't know, Ed. I don't know. Anyway, so here's what we got.
Ed, and Eddie.
What happened to Ed's limbs?
That would be a plot for an episode.
Ubisoft cut them out because I'm not marketable enough with them.
I lost weight.
Honestly, you could have just said it the Angel was like, they took him off because I am grounded.
Because I am
Jesus.
grounded.
Jesus. The stairs, the limbs. So this is what I got. I don't know who Bean is.
Bean is... I'm gonna assume that's probably the cauliflower boss, maybe?
Maybe. Oh, you're right. Yeah, the bean, or that bean that was talking to you, where he was like, you're stuck on these seeds or whatever. I have Ellen Gerstel. So that one
Okay.
on IMDb.
Is this regarding like the retail version or the or, you know what? That's right, because it would make it, because I think that character only speaks in the retail version, so never mind.
No worries. Susie, who I think is the professor's daughter.
Yes, Professor.
Yeah, that's the girl with the big eyes.
Oh,
Bags of ice from my head. It says that she's played by Carolyn Lawrence.
Really?
That'd be Sandy for those who are playing the home game.
yeah, Sandy or as Cindy from Jimmy Neutron.
Well played.
You know, I never really made that connection.
That's
so,
if IMDb's to be trusted, but I'll give it a listen.
assuming they're to be trusted, yes.
The other ones I got is that specifically the Grog soldiers, when we get to them, they're voiced by Rob Paulson.
Use the parachute to help
Huh.
It also claims Billy West is Grog,
platform
and the Doc,
from the pole.
and the Magician Mushroom, and the Mummy, and the cookie owner, and the newspaper guy here.
You know, I guess that's where all the money they got from their that's where all their Nestle Crunch money went to.
Still, it's cool that you can shoot while you fly about now.
Yeah, and this is going to be important for certain areas, but otherwise, yeah. The main thing regarding the bow glider is that you glide around Lake Mario 64. I will definitely debate it's debatable whether it's better or worse, but I'd like to say, for the sake of this game, it handles okay.
Okay.
You can also hover with it by holding down the strafe button, which can be helpful in a pinch. And yeah, you could still use your pea shooter while gliding around,
It's actually-
which is a little awkward.
A naming reticle maybe would have helped, but I mean, like the idea of being able to like hover and change directions mid-flight is neat.
Yeah.
And lastly, I have at the very beginning of the game, it claims that the barmaid or whatever who threw Grog out into the street was played by Roz Ryan.
Now then, to give the
Huh,
machine
okay.
some circumrotation, I'll need
Roz
6
Ryan
jumping
currently
circles.
being the
Last I
voice
heard,
of Cake from Fiona and Cake.
Oh.
Interesting.
That is interesting.
Again, if it is to be believed.
If it's to be believed, because, to be fair, who the hell's talking about Tonic Trouble in freaking 2025?
You know, aside from us.
Oh,
That's
dude,
why we're
what?
here.
Oh yeah, that
I
did
must be
remind me
hearing
actually.
things in my old age. Yeah, what's up?
That did remind me. When we were doing the bow tie tutorial, that track that was playing, that was for I think most of the beach area racetracks in Rayman M.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
I mean, honestly, I find that interesting, considering that I always figured with Rayman M, like, during the, like, whenever you're doing, like, all the racing stuff, that would be where all of the character themes would be playing.
Yeah, you could. Yeah, that still happens, but it's mainly like it happens at the 3, 2, 1 go, and if you're just doing the
Oh,
time trial, if
boy.
I remember.
Oh, boss.
No. I was thinking he was a boss too at first, but no, he's completely friendly. Also, a big lipped alligator moment, considering this is the only time you see him.
Oh,
Whoa, okay, dude, calm back down. Calm down.
Oh!
I never thought I'd see a real-life giraffe in my time.
Hoary tusks, so you're Ed. The doc had warned me, but...
So one thing I will say is actually kind of interesting now that I see this guy is that while the special edition of Tonic Trouble only really focused on Ed, the doctor, and Frog, all the other side characters we've been seeing throughout, like this guy and Susie, and probably the only real Rayman cameo this game actually has, you only see them in the credits.
Oh.
I get you.
Also,
Sorry,
can we
that
just
was
talk
more
about the
funny
fact
than
that, like,
should've been. Yo, you think you were to say it too. Continue. Nice.
just the fact that, like, because I know it's not, like, entirely uncommon with a lot of the characters, but with that guy especially, like, his entire face just kind of, like, deforms at will as he's talking.
Right, every time it
yeah.
load a certain expression, it would load up a higher res model, but because of the geometry, it was just like just over and
Like,
over.
his trunk would just shrink and grow
Shrunk and
depending on how his
shrunken,
mouth
crunk
is.
and brunk and-
God.
Yeah. So now we
okay.
come to the cliffs, and I'll admit, like, this is one of those... Oh, jeez. This is one of those levels that can definitely kick your ass here and there, but over time I've come to realize it's actually a pretty fun level to just let loose.
I assume, though, unlike the tutorial, we do have a limited amount of ammunition, so be mindful. Do we have a max amount of bees?
The max amount of bees is, I want to say, 250.
Alright. No more bees past that.
No more bees. There's only so much you can fit into your pockets, Ed.
No more bees for you, little mister.
So, from what I need to remember, we're here because the doc needs, like, these magic stones or whatever. They kind of look like radioactive beans, honestly, but we need to collect... They're our next big collectible.
Alright, all 6 of the magic marbles. Let's go.
Yay, magic marble. But yeah, no, otherwise, I think this level's pretty fun. And what's even funnier is that, much like the ski slope we dealt with at the beginning of the game, after we're done with our first visit through the level, they'll actually, a timer will pop up the next time we visit this level, because at that point, you're tasked with going from the beginning of the level all the way back to the end as if it's a race to the finish.
What's your reward for being such a time trial?
More swirlies.
Jesus. Nah. Yeah, no, I'm scared for him. That looked awful.
I mean, honestly, the fact that he didn't just dunk straight into the lava is already kind of worrying enough.
He an alien.
He's an alien from outer space.
So when you are flying about like this, is there a semblance of like aim assist to like help aim the bees a bit better at targets?
Not as far as I'm aware. No, I think you literally have to shoot exactly what's in front of you.
Fair enough.
So you got to aim this thing just right. And again, this thing controls about the same as the wing cap in Mario 64. So take that for what you will.
Okay. Whoa.
On the plus side, I want to say that you can get a little bit more airtime. It's easier to get airtime off of this thing than you would the wing cap, so there's that.
It also just dawned on me that, like, considering our health is... Whoop. Is that... Considering our health is a thermometer, has all the health pickups been just like little mercury droplets?
Yes.
That's unhealthy. Kids, do not drink that.
Well, I mean, he's an alien. How do we know it's unhealthy for him?
Look at him. Look how scrawny he is.
Well, like I said, how do we know it's unhealthy for him?
Yeah, you're probably right.
I mean, let's remember here. In the Pikmin series, all the main characters can't survive on oxygen.
Could be.
Hell, for all we know, maybe they breathe mercury.
That you heard that sound effect too, right, Doug?
Wait, what sound?
Yeah,
What?
that was too perfectly timed.
Part of this music soundtrack actually has the meme, the of like suspicion growing, and it happened at a moment of us pausing our conversation. I was like, did James add that in post, or like he know, or no? That was just the song itself being like,
Yeah, no, that was definitely the game.
okay, all right. That caught me off guard. Don't spook me like that.
The times we can
I
get
think
away with this shit back then.
Right. I think what I'm missing is I think I need to give myself my own kind of tonic to drink right now, just to like. I had a bit of an early morning, but I'm kicking in this. I'm watching steal the devil's jewels.
I want to steal.
I want to steal.
I want to steal.
Easy does it.
I want to steal some caramel rum.
Some what?
Caramel rum.
Caramel rum. I've never heard that actually. I like rum. Actually,
Very nice.
Again, Moscato's usually my thing, but it's like special occasions, and it's like again, it's more of a dessert. It's like more sweet and stuff. Like you can barely taste the alcohol.
I mean, if you just drink it in a shot without anything, it's really nice.
All right, fair enough. I've also been liking amarettos with well, again, Midori or amaretto, Midori or amaretto.
Duty. You got my duty.
I like Midori. But I remember liking that bit too. That's right. We do need to get back to watching the revival.
Oh yeah. Because what? We're almost done with what? Almost done with the first season of it.
Series 7, I think so. I think we're up to like the 4th episode. I just remember like the first two thoughts of like they got really mean to one of them at one point, and I was like, what the hell? Like, what this guy do? He just. I just feel bad for him now. But the other thing, I guess, to put my thoughts out there. So Doug and Sammy and sometimes Matt. We've been watching an old Scottish sitcom show called A Still Game. Doug introduced me to it. There it is again. Doug introduced me to it, and I do genuinely like it. It's very tight writing. The cast is a lot of fun to watch, and we've now gotten to the point where we've watched the entire originals like run of the show, and now we're watching a I don't want to say modern like revival, because it was still, I think, a few years back, wasn't it?
Yeah, a few years back. Like,
And
I need to look up the release. I need to look up the dates again.
it's like 2017, I think. But
No, I think it's 2015, but I'm looking it up.
no worries. Yeah, it was like several years after the show ended. They got the whole gang back together that they could have there, and revive.
Yeah, I'm just saying, screw it. I know my fate.
And
Honestly, I just think it's even funnier because when you look on the top left portion of the screen, the Ed head you see up there does correlate with the Ed head that's on the player model.
And I get it now. It's because I always thought he was flying like, I'm flying, but I realized it's because it's him representing how he looks with the blowpipe in his mouth.
Yeah, otherwise I can just imagine whenever he's flying around, even with without the blowpipe, he just goes,
He just goes up in pitch. But anyway, any luck yet, Doug?
Okay, the revival is 2016.
2016. Okay.
And not counting the specials after the main finale, that was back in 2007.
Oh wow.
Yeah, years to prep for this.
Let's see. What do you say?
If you'd ask for pearls or diamonds, I'd understand.
Oh yeah, I guess it goes without saying. The further you get in the game, the more Susie starts to become very intimately interested in Ed.
Ah.
If you beat it,
It's like they're not at all being subtle with the fact that they're essentially going to become an item by the end of the game.
Hooray-ish. Fair enough.
Also, she also mentioned that now's the point where if we decide to return back to the beginning of the level, that's when we can start the time trial.
Oh, to get that. Oh, so there it goes.
Yeah, just like that, I figured, yeah, why not? You know what? I wouldn't hurt to do so. I could use the extra swirlies. And honestly, if you know what you're doing, this time trial, the time you need to beat is nothing.
Well, like especially because like most of the time it took to get here was us stopping to get other collectibles on the way. Now we're just gonna be like taking tight corners and like just beelining it.
Right, we're just gunning straight for the end, which again, it's really not that hard to do,
Okay.
especially compared to the ski slope.
But yeah, the Still game revival. Yeah, I'm enjoying it for the most part. Some of the writing I felt like got a little mean-spirited with someone, but it wasn't too distracting otherwise. My only thing that I was telling Doug was that like because of like the better I guess lighting, or maybe because it wasn't shot on film or something, I just remembered like the revival series looking a lot like bluer, or a lot like the lighting was a lot more bright. Like it was a lot brighter in areas.
Yeah,
But-
considering the fact that, again, they didn't have too much lighting stuff from what I do remember back then.
But otherwise, still solid. And then after that, I gotta show him some wacky other shows, like freaking maybe Xavier Renegade Angel.
Wouldn't be against that. I know one, I think, and I know Matt, if I remember, wants to get back to doing is Monty Python stuff.
That's true. We did still have a few more, I think, episodes of the series itself, and then of course we got the movies.
Oh yeah.
One thing I'll actually say before we do leave this level for good is that the special edition of Tonic Trouble, the level design is actually far different than what you see here. It's like here we're literally like in the interior where there's a whole bunch of lava and like a whole cavern and everything. Whereas with the special edition, you're actually out in like a whole desert like wasteland full of rocks, like obviously like a whole Rocky Mountain and stuff, and there's a whole trail to go through. By the very end of it, you'll actually find a whole airship that literally crash landed, which you can actually go inside to grab one of the important magical stones you need to grab.
Dang. Okay. I mean,
again, if I had the patience to do so, I would have had no trouble actually doing a playthrough of the special edition, especially if you know what you're doing. It's actually shorter than than the retail version. The only downside is, again, the tank controls are one thing, and when I did attempt to actually record parts of it for a scrapped third part I was going to do, the credits, the footage slightly glitched right around where the credits would play.
So
I just figured, you know what? Nah, freaking Agent Ed already has a whole playthrough of that version on their channel, so I'd say go watch that instead.
So again, any game developers or game people enthusiasts and stuff, please feel free to look into maybe doing a redemption thing for Ed. Would be nifty.
That'd be cool.
Yes, 100% yes.
Put it up, give it that wide screen and that. Oh, yay!
Honestly, I would love that just because I know the level after this one got the biggest uplift and probably the most, or excuse me, not the biggest uplift. It's, how do I put this? The next level we'll be going to is called the Glacier Cocktail, and the way it looks in the special edition of this game is damn near psychedelic.
Oh boy.
Well,
whereas here it's not quite as psychedelic, but it still plays to its themes relatively well.
Take your word for it. Anyway, we got another one.
All six? Well done! We're making excellent progress. Now that you know how to fly, you'll have to learn how to dive.
What?
Here.
Oh, dive. I read that as died. I think he's about to turn code and become a villain.
Now get ready to die.
Now you'll have to die. So, here's the funny thing. For the retail version and the N64 version, they call our next upgrade a pressurized goldfish bowl.
Uh-huh.
However, once you see it in action, you'll come to realize it is not at all a goldfish bowl.
Oh boy.
Haven't got time to talk to you, Ed. I'm a busy doc.
Oh, this time he doesn't even. This time,
You got it, Doc.
this time he don't even have. This time he doesn't even have an opportunity to like, say I don't want to listen to you right now. So how do we dive?
Huh.
So, this is not at all a goldfish bowl. It is actually a flask. And,
Oh, scientist, like, okay.
yeah, like a scientist flask. Though the funny part is that, unfortunately, with the retail version of the game, this thing used to actually have a transparency effect, which is still possible to see in the N64 release and the special edition. But here, you can. It's like you don't even get to see what Ed's face looks like inside that
Just
thing.
go to water. I can't see nothing.
Yeah, essentially, yeah. Like Doc forgot to clean that damn that flask.
It almost looked like a metal funnel or a helmet at first.
I mean, that's essentially what it may as well be to someone like Ed. Also, since I realize now that I have most, if not all, of my
Movement.
the upgrades I got all the upgrades that are required for like travel and whatnot. I decided to go ahead and backtrack for a few extra goodies.
All good and whoa, that's a weird effect.
Yeah, pay no mind to that glitch. I guess it should be said, this game is not easy to run on modern day PCs, so I had to find like a whole like pre-configured build that would allow me to play it through a batch file.
Gotcha, okay. But
And there's still a few things that unfortunately have not been able to make the transition gracefully.
I don't fault you.
And we'll be here for the last time because here we'll be able to find another thermometer piece and another swirly. Unfortunately, for every playthrough I've done of this game, there's like maybe one of the last couple of swirlies you'll find I still having trouble figuring out where it even is. If it weren't for the fact that you only need like 160, I forget it was like 160 or 100.
Is it possible?
Whatever the case, at most you can only miss 20 of them.
Okay, so it's not 100% is not necessary. And I assume like either from the pause menu or something, you can actually tell how many of these antidote things you have.
There is a status menu that you can turn on that will show you how many like collectibles you found all throughout the levels.
All right.
And also give you a little map to showcase where everything is, however helpful that is. But yes, I do believe now comes the point where we must go to the Glacier Cocktail to find some purple feathers.
Oh, perhaps, yeah. Then we'll be able to get ourselves rolling and rocking, and oh my goodness gracious.
Have you ever wanted to know what it's like to actually travel inside a drink?
Oh.
That sounds dangerous.
Would you like to?
Would you
snap.
like just the tomato fucking...
Oh!
Ow. Also, you may be wondering, what the hell is this thing? Well, let's just say that's going to require another thing we'll have to learn later, and this is also something that I feel like the game could have better explained, is that if you find a big boulder and a small, boulder right beside it, you can actually, move it to the side, move the big boulder to the side with your stick.
It would really help if the introduction for having the stick ever gave you this option to do this at any point in time in the game. So you would know that you could look for it.
Yeah, this is actually a point I will give to the special edition of the game, because the menuing in that one is a little more complex than what we actually got with the retail version, and even showed you all of the abilities that you actually have with all your gadgets and whatnot.
Oh, so you could always just re-examine them and notice, okay, what actually do you have the capability of doing?
Yes. Oh, and here's where I show off the special inventory screen that I mentioned earlier.
Okay, so you have to get 160 of them, yeah.
Yep, 160 in order to beat the game. And here's our map.
Interesting. It's a neat little, wacky map. Okay, I dig it. So this will take us to the Cocktail Glacier.
Though I will also say, another point to the special edition, the actual, they actually show off an entire map of the Earth itself. And you can, it's like a whole 3D model that you can turn around and everything, and it even showcases all, like, the levels that you've gone through so far.
That's cool to see like 3D model designs of each of these areas.
Yeah, like, it's honestly pretty interesting it's a pretty interesting little thing. So yeah, well, that said, everybody, next time we come to Tonic Trouble, we shall dip right into the Glacier Cocktail.
Oh boy.
And hopefully finish the rest of the game. Till next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
I should have gone my drink prepared.